Hey guys, it's Craig by the Bootstraps, btbootstraps.com. Check out the store, check out the website, like and subscribe to the videos if you like this. Today, we're going to be reviewing The Black Panther. Obviously, I bought this on Blu-ray. I bought this prematurely. The movie fucking sucks. That's what it comes down to. You know, I bought it because I thought I'd like it. I really enjoy the Marvel movies as a whole. I really enjoy, like, you know, the entertainment value of the movies. And I wanted to like this movie. I didn't care about the fact it was a predominantly black cast. I didn't care that they didn't have any of the other characters from the cinematic universe in it. I didn't care. I looked at it as its own individual movie, and I watched it last night with my wife. All right, so this is going to be a spoiler video, so if you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay. I don't think I'm ruining too much since the movie's been out since February, and here it is a year later. So, whatever. Anyway, movie starts off. The Black Panther's father died from the events in Civil War. He's now going to be crowned the king. You know, he lives in Wakanda. They have this vibranium, which is from a meteor that fell to the earth. They're supposedly the most technologically advanced society in the world. However, what's very interesting is to be so technologically advanced, they live in the most primitive manners. You know, you look at outside of like a couple structures here and there, you have people walking around with spears and cloaks like traditional African garms. You know, they have high-rise buildings with thatched houses attached to it. You know, they select their king not based on who's the most intelligent and who can provide the most security for their nation, but through Mortal Kombat trial, like gladiator style. You know, all the events in the movie, they don't happen because of this like wonderful society that they are. They happen through tribalism. There's even an entire battle conflict scene that I was looking at my wife and I'm going, why are they doing this? You know? Anyway, so kind of backing up, King gets crowned. They go through this trial by combat. He gets challenged by one of the other tribes, which is this tribe in the mountain. He ends up winning, which is kind of funny because he actually gets his ass kicked, but he barely wins at the end. Which is another thing that's kind of funny. Every time that he doesn't have his Black Panther power, this flower power apparently, the dude's a wimp. I mean, he's kind of a pussy. He gets his ass kicked, he gets thrown around, he gets beat up, he gets, you know, everything that you would expect for this leader to be, he's not. He only survives off of his flower power and suit. Everything else is like, well, what's the point? You know? So anyway, they're looking for this guy named Claw, which is played by the guy who played Smeagol in the Lord of the Rings movies. Can't remember his name for the life of me. But they end up chasing him down, and they meet this character called Killmonger, which is he's actually the cousin of the Black Panther. There's a whole backstory about how his dad was trying to plan this mission, stole this vibranium from Wakanda. Turned out he was portrayed by one of the spies from Wakanda. Turned out that was one of his friends back home and was loyal to the king, so they end up killing him in self-defense. Well, they take that whole entire self-defense plot and they try to turn it into, or now the current king, T'Challa, is feeling like he is responsible for the actions of his dad, which is ridiculous in its notion, because why would you be responsible for something you had no control over? You know, and plus it gives a kind of a huge insult to the father who's already passed away from Civil War, because it's saying, hey, you're too stupid to understand what you needed to do and protect your way of life. So I, the naive, brand new king, am going to challenge you and tell you how you're wrong. Well, that's really great. And when you have 30 years worth of rule under your belt and made that decision, wonderful. But until then, sit down and shut up in a way. But because of that, there's this kid who grows up without a father. He ends up joining the CIA, he ends up joining Special Ops, he ends up racking up a lot of killing. His name is Killmonger, and he has another name in the movie, but quite frankly I don't care because it was a boring character. He's very one-sided, one-dimensional. He just wants to kill things so that he can become the leader of Wakanda, so that he can take their technology, their vibranium, their weapons, their tools, and then disrupt the world's economic system, disrupt the societies of like places like Britain, China, United States, and stuff like that. So basically he wants to go kill more people. Wow, what a great villain, you know. And even with all that though, I'm watching this and I'm going, well, you know what, I could kind of get into the movie still. You know, it's a very slow-paced movie for a Marvel movie. There's a lot of parts that don't make a lot of sense. But then when you get down to like the pure interactions between, you know, T'Challa, who is the Black Panther, and you talk to this Killmonger character, they don't have a dynamic about them. You know, my wife was actually, you know, so bored of the movie, she was getting up and doing other things like emptying the dishwasher, you know, going outside to go see the stars or anything else. And I'm like, you want me to just turn it off? I was like, oh no, you can keep playing it. And I'm like, you're clearly not interested in it. I'm not either, you know. They go through the Civil War conflict because apparently this brand new guy, this Killmonger, who beats T'Challa in another one of those tribal combats, you know, good job, technologically advanced society. He decides that, you know, he's going to take over and that the people of Wakanda are going to follow him. At what point in time do you go, you're an outsider, and even though you might have rights to the throne because you're the nephew of the guy who got killed, that doesn't make you in a higher standing than T'Challa in the movie. You know, why would anyone listen to him? You know, you're an outsider. You literally just showed up hours ago. You challenged the king, you won, so therefore you're now the king of Wakanda? You know, so now we're gonna you know, abide by your rules and biddings, and your rules and biddings go against everything that our society stands for. You know, and then there's this black friend who is a friend of T'Challa. They established that he's a friend of T'Challa, but because he was unable to kill the Klaus character in the beginning, the white guy, you know, they turn out he ends up trading sides to, you know, to basically have allegiance with this Killmonger, a guy he doesn't even know, he never met before in his life. He throws away his friendship with his long-term friend to take up arms against him because this guy provided a body of someone who killed his parents. You know, which at one hand you go, yeah, well, he killed his parents, so I can see why he would do that. But at the same time, it's like, wow, dude, you're an awesome guy. What a friend. You know, you turn your back on your buddy, who, by the way, in the events of the movie, was actually going to provide the bad guy, the Klaus guy, to you, but was stolen by this Killmonger. So instead of taking your friend's word, you go with a complete stranger and basically betray your friend. Oh, and that same friend, or that same person that you betrayed with, is going to commit civil war against the people of Wakanda. So your own fellow men and women that you know, that you grew up with, you're now going to be fighting against them and killing them because of a man you don't even know versus your friend that you've known your entire life. But if you're my friend, if this was the same situation, stay the fuck away from me. Just go away. Movie goes back and forth, but finally ends, the Killmonger guy gets killed, which we all saw was going to happen, alright? Now there's a lot more that happened in between, but quite frankly, it's not interesting. You know, it's just not a good movie in that regard, you know. The sets look nice, I'm glad they did a lot of practical things, practical settings, practical effects and things like that, but there was also a bunch of CGI in the film, and the CGI just looked bad. It looked boring. You know, anytime they had the Black Panther suit, particularly like in Korea and stuff like that, where they have this driving scene, it's all in dark. You know, the final fight scene, it's in the dark. You can't really see what's going on, and it's just, honestly, it's just not interesting. But all that being said, I would still say, okay, I could almost enjoy this movie, but then they do the thing in the movie that I just don't understand. They turn it very racist. I mean, they make it very unnecessarily racist. You know, the Killmonger's character, you know, makes, you know, a lot of dialogue in the movie about, you know, the white man and being against the white man and how he'd rather get cast away in the sea and die in the oceans than live in slavery like his ancestors. Dude, you're Wakandan, supposedly. Your family didn't grow up in slavery. You know, they grew up free and apparently in a technologically advanced society. You can't claim that moniker. Then he goes, there's 2 billion people that look just like us. So what, you're going to kill everyone else who does it? The 13 billion people who don't look like you? Or 7 billion, I don't know what the world population is, I'm just saying. You know, so you're going to kill everyone else who doesn't look like you? You know, yeah, that's a wonderful character. You know, oh, and then he also mentioned that I killed people on this continent. I killed, you know, referring to Africa. I killed people in Afghanistan, Pakistan, here. Oh, great, so you killed other black people too. But yet, now you're concerned about the plight of other blacks? That doesn't make any sense. They have Martin Freeman's character. He's a CIA operative in this movie. He gets brought to Wakanda, and he gets called things like the colonizer. You know, her sister, oh great, another white boy we have to fix. Wow, that's great. I really would like to know what would be said about the movie if it was the other way around. You know, would people be going, this is a great movie, I love this open racism, woo! Or would they be saying, what the fuck? You know, you got a scene in the movie where they're sitting in the mountains with another character. Martin Freeman's character starts to speak, you know, a white guy, and all these black people start hooting at him like a bunch of apes. You know, the symbolism is hilarious, but at the same time, they're hooting at him. And I'm going, are you freaking kidding me? I wonder what would happen if it was reversed. Do you think that the media and all the critics would not be going, this is a great movie, man? No, hell no. They'd be saying, are you kidding me? The movie has so much racial undertone and so much SWJ undertone that it honestly ruins the movie. You know, what could have been interesting, what could have been better, kind of like flat out destroys the movie. And what I find interesting is that at the same year that Avengers Infinity War comes out, this movie is being nominated for Picture of the Year. You've got to be kidding me. Your villain was one-sided and kind of crap. Your story is kind of boring. Your main character had no drive to him. And like the acting was actually pretty good. Like I don't fault the actors for any of this. I fault more or less the director and the script. All right, all the actors did a great job. And the one who played like the main guard for T'Challa, I can't remember her name, but she did a pretty good job. The sister did a pretty good job. You know, Martin Freeman did a good job. The guy who played Klaus, who I can't remember his name right now, he did a good job. Like all the actors themselves did a fairly good job, to include the villain. But his cringe-worthy dialogue, you know, the over-the-top racism that was in the movie, the boring writing, it made for a bad experience. But yet this movie is up for Best Film of the Year. But it's only up for Best Film of the Year, if we're being honest, it's because it was a primary black cast. You know, which is unfair because there were other great movies that came out that come to mind recently that were better. One of them is Moonlight. You know, that was a fantastic movie. Whether you like the subject material or not, it was a great movie. And I don't know where that fell in line with, you know, Best Movie of the Year or whatever, but I'm just saying as an example. You know, but then you had, you know, Avengers Infinity Wars that came out, which is a much better movie. You know, faster pace, better dialogue, better writing, you know, better character development, especially for Thanos. You know, all those things make it a far superior movie, but yet that movie gets overlooked because why? Didn't feature primarily black cast. You know, social justice warriors, you know, and that mindset is ruining, in my mind, the film and the entertainment industry. You know, there's so many things that are coming out now that I just don't, it's not that I personally disagree with them. It's not because I don't like the characters. It's just because, you know, they make, like, for example, they make Black Panther sound like it's the best superhero movie that's ever been made because there's never been a black superhero. And immediately my mind goes, Blade? He had 3 movies, and they were, well, except for the third one, but that wasn't his fault. That was the other characters. But the first 2 were great. You know, you're just going to overlook that? I mean, I know this one sucks, but Steel? Shaquille O'Neal? You know, he played as a superhero. You're telling me that he doesn't count? You know, Catwoman with Halle Berry? Again, that movie was not that great. But again, that's a superhero movie. It doesn't count? I mean, you're selectively deciding what is and what isn't, apparently. But I say the social justice warrior stuff is killing these movies. You know, this Captain Marvel, for example, is coming out. You know, I was interested to see the movie initially, and I haven't made any videos on this, but I will when we actually see the movie. But because of the main actresses, you know, I don't want white people watching this movie or covering the movie or things like that. You know, this is about female power because there's not been any females in any movies. Again, refer back to what I said before. You're ruining your own films. You know, Star Wars with making Rey the shining star, which I'm fine with. I'm actually fine with completely if you gave her enough backstory and training to define how she can do all the things that she does. But instead you don't. You shoehorn in abilities that took other characters of the established lore years to do. She can do now in a matter of days. You know? You're pissing on your own franchises for the sake of appeasing a small minority group of people, and other people like myself who like more logical conclusions in their movies are watching this going, this doesn't make any sense. Not for at least what you've already established. You just can't rewrite the rules on a moment's notice because it fits your narrative. You know, in that case, it leaves continuity gaps that are huge on the back end from what came before. I don't know. Comment below, let me know what you guys think. if I had to rate this movie, honestly, realistically, take away, you know, well, I'll give it 2 ratings actually. If you were to take away all the racism in this movie that was uncalled for and cleaned up the script a little bit more, I think this movie would be like a B-. You know, but the way it stands right now, with all the racism, all the Americans suck, white boys suck, and this kind of stuff, this movie ranks as like a C-, D+. Anyway, comment below, let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you later.